Yo, yo, what's up? How's everybody doing? We are in the building. My name is Johnny, and this is Live with Johnny. Gonna give it a few seconds, let everybody tap in. This is definitely gonna be a subject, a topic that I want more people to engage in because I need to hear from some people. That's the bottom line because it's things that are being said, it's things that are being done, and it's time to really see what we
It's
can
time to
learn.
really.
Okay, there we go. That's good. I want to really learn what people are saying, if this is something that's on people's mind as you go out and vote, because y'all all know voting is less than 30 days away. Voting is less than 30 days away. So either you've made a decision or you have to be very close to making a decision. Because if you're going to vote, now there's people that are already voting. There's early voting going on right now. So this it's already kicking off. So I just want to know, and I want to talk to ladies, and I want to talk to guys because I want to see what y'all think about abortion as well. Because guys have to have an opinion, I'm sure, but I mainly want to hear from females because it's your body, and there's things that I thought I had beliefs in, but then I've heard from other people, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. So, excuse me, y'all. Um, I'm still learning my new smile, but so there are things that we're gonna have to take a look at here, and then I got some videos and things that I want to show you guys, so we can check that out as well. But I want y'all to let everybody know that Live with Johnny is on the air, and y'all, this is popping, y'all. We before we get started, we on Facebook twice, and we on YouTube. We've got several people behind us, backing us on this podcast. So it can only get bigger from here. So make sure y'all tap in, y'all. My name is Johnny. This is Live Johnny. Let's go. All right, y'all. We are back, and we're in my new studio. I wish let everybody know that, like, this is a new studio, um, and it it's always been a dream of mine to be in a studio to do things like this, and hopefully it gets bigger. But it's a struggle, especially when you're in a small city and you're trying to do podcasting and things like that. It's definitely a struggle. The support a lot of times is not there. It's lacking. It's lackluster support. If y'all don't know, I've been doing podcasts since the pandemic, and so now I'm trying to grow it and give other people a chance to do podcasting and things like that because it is the future. It's the next level. It's what a lot of people are doing. Like sometimes you'll see somebody with earphones on and you'll think they listen to music and they listen to a podcast. So that's how big podcasts has gotten. And you can tailor it to certain things that you believe in, certain things that you into, and people that are into those same things will tap in and they'll, you know, support you. You never know, whatever you into, you never know. There may be people that are into the same exact thing that you're into. take example for like financing. There are people who are interested in financing and buying houses and buying property and things like that. Sewing, rapping. If you're rapping, you might want to do a rap podcast. That probably would be cool because then you get a lot of other rappers and people like, man, this is my demo. All day, every day. People try to send you their demo. That's crazy. But yeah. And I just want to say this as well. Like we we can help now. We got some people, co-hosts that are on from time to time. But I've had to put this together and continuously try to build this on like a solo mission. You know what I'm saying? But I believe in it, and I believe that it's going to take off and be bigger than what obviously it is today. Because I can't really go anywhere right now in Peoria without somebody saying, "Hey, Johnny, Johnny." And I haven't been putting out a whole lot of music. My music still carries on, but it's the podcasting and things like that. So shout out to all the people who be repping me, who be watching my stuff. I really appreciate that. And you know what? Sooner or later, I'm gonna start. I don't know if that's my lips is shiny or spit. I'm still trying to wipe it off, but I think it's just my lips are shiny. But I thought it was like some spit. I'm sitting there wiping it off. I know, yeah, that's kind of gross, but I don't. It's a lot of light in here. That's what all I'm saying. So anyway, because I'm shiny like a star, So, but with that being said, and we're gonna chop this up. All of my podcasts get chopped up, so I'm just giving you some pre-talk so we can get to know each other and kind of relax. That's what I do at the beginning of my podcast. Just kind of talk about things, worldly things sometimes, and you could definitely tap in. You can leave your comment, your question. If you don't like what I'm saying, leave a mad emoji. I don't care. Leave some type of um. Now, like I said, I'm getting used to my new so y'all got to excuse me. I'm not used to talking as much, but now I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, just bear with me, please. Anyway, it's gonna get greater later. Um, I'm going to incorporate like comedy into my podcast. I'm going to do that. It's not going to be so serious, but we so close to election, y'all. I don't know if it's even time to be jokey joke, and shit like that. Because we're gonna have to make a choice. It's gonna be Donald Trump and Vance or Biden and Harris. Now, here's one thing that I do see when I be like in towns, small towns, and things like that. There's about an even match of each. Like when you go to like I don't know if I'm gonna say hick side of the town, like big houses. You can tell these people they make a lot of money. A lot of times you'll see in those areas you'll see a lot of Trump signs. And here's the thing: these Trump signs be huge. And then you'll see Kamala Harris signs and they be little small signs. A lot of little small signs, but then you see this big, huge Trump sign. And like the only thing you can think of is like, yeah, they got money. Yeah, that's funny. I see it all the time. Just big, huge Trump signs, and little small Kamala Harris signs. But like I said, it's a mixture. It's a mixture sometimes, So that's what I will say about that. But what I want to talk about today, y'all, as a matter of fact, we're gonna take a little break and we're gonna be right back. Let your friends know Johnny's on the air live. Oh, we're gonna take a little break and then we're gonna be right back. Okay. What happened? I had to fix myself up. I wasn't all the way together. All right, so now we back. We're gonna get there, y'all. This is one of them days. But we're gonna get there. Like I said, I am the engineer, I'm the producer, I'm the cameraman, I am the everything. So if something goes wrong, I'm the one that has to fix it, or else it's going to continues to be wrong. So, whew. All right, y'all. With that being said, we all know it's a presidential election coming up here. The first female president. It's kind of looking like that a lot because she is gaining a lot of ground. Polls are starting to look better for Kamala. They're coming up. Trump is slipping, and it's a lot of goofs, a lot of oops, a lot of stuff that Trump gets into trouble wise with the law and things like that. A lot of that stuff, I think, like Trump brings on himself. He does to himself. You know, um, if he would have just waited, been like adult like about the situation that he lost last election, if he would have just waited and not try to do any of that other BS, then I think he would be in good, I think he would definitely be in a good situation right now because he would have gained trust of more people. But doing all of that insurrection, and then even after the insurrection, now we finding out today that he was sending COVID tests to Putin, not for Putin's people, but for Putin himself. Like he was sending all of these tests to Putin and probably his boys to make sure that they okay. When America at a time now it would be different if like America had everything they needed, but it was at a time where America didn't have everything they needed. So I just things like that I think really hurts him because the decisions that he make. And Kamala, yes, she has been with Biden for the last 3.5 years, but you can't really merge the two together. You can, but everybody know like a vice president don't really do a whole lot. They're not. They see it's to me it's like they in training. They getting to be next to the person who's making big decisions and holding the country together. So she does get a lot of props from me from being there. Now I know a lot of people they say things like Kamala never did enough for black people. She locked black men up and things like that. But I need to see proof. I need to see proof. I need to see proof. Like I can't just go by what somebody says that she did. I really need to see proof. Otherwise, it's like we putting our own. It's always been like that to where we put our own down real quick, and we won't never put our own on that level to where they could be like, yeah, they could be the next best thing. Uh, Obama blew it out the water when he was president, and he built the economy back up from Bush. That wasn't supposed to happen. I don't believe he must. He really is supposed to be a one-term president, if you ask me, because that wasn't supposed to happen. I think they got to a point where it was like, well, we're gonna give him 4 years because we know ain't nowhere in the world he know how to run a country, and he gonna mess up so bad. The world ain't never gonna want another black president ever again because there's no way he can understand everything that's going on. There's no way. And he got in, he blew it away. So he was a two-term president. Some people arguably, and historians will say he was probably one of the top 10 presidents ever when everything is all said and done because of what he did, how he got to his position that he was at, what he was able to accomplish. They're gonna put President Trump up there. I mean President Trump. They're gonna put President Obama up there highly in those levels. That's just facts. He was able to save the economy. He a black president. For him to even be able to get to that level, that's something that I never thought I would probably see in my lifetime. Uh-uh. And so now you have to understand when those things happen, you break down walls and you push through. So he pushed through, and now we're toying with the mind of having a black president, female. See how I did that? I put president first and then female. Another black president, female this time. Our first black female president, you know, and that's big. Uh, I always thought that until Hillary was close, I always in the back of my mind thought it would be a woman, black female president before a white woman, female president. Don't ask me why. I mean, I have my theories, but I don't want to get myself into trouble. But I always thought it would be a black female president. And then, like, when Hillary started losing the Trump, and Trump was like, he was like speedier, more speedier than her, more throw out more insults quicker than she was. Like, that's the name of the game sometimes. That's why Kamala's looking so good because she's able to, deliver. And Trump is getting older. He's slowing down like Biden was. And so that's what people look. Sometimes it's about looks and how they look. So for those people who are voting for Trump, this I mean, all I'm saying is just please understand this. For those people who are voting for Trump, I'm not saying that you right the decision. I'm not saying that you wrong with your decision. But I just want you to understand this. Trump is an older man. Like it's really a miracle that he's in the shape that he is when they talk about what he like. I don't see how this could last forever, but it lasted this long. So kudos to him. He's done what he did. But in the event that he dies, let's say in year three, then who do you think is going to be president? J.D. Vance. Who do you think helped? He put J.D. Vance was the one who put the four notes in Project 25, 2025. He's the one that you know how you do like a book report and you do the four notes. This book report is about this and this and this and this and this, or a thesis or whatever. J.D. Vance is the one that scripted the four notes for Project 2025. That's probably how he became vice president. So if something happens to Trump, Project 2025 is going to be a reality no matter what. So you really have to understand that. We're going to do Project 2025 uh, podcast so y'all can see exactly what's in it and what it's all about. I want to do one of those so y'all can see. We're going to talk about Project 2025. But that's something that you have to understand. And that what brings me into my next or the topic of the night is abortion. Both Trump and JD are against really abortion. Trump put people in position on the Supreme Court to where they were able to knock down Roe versus Wade. They got rid of that and they handed that responsibility. First, it was a government thing, like abortion was legal. People had to do it in every state. But now he got rid of that to where you can only have an abortion in states that allow you to have abortions. If the states be like, nah, we don't fuck with that. We religious, we Republican, we don't want abortion in our state. You can't have an abortion in that state. You would have to go to another state to have an abortion. If some states like Texas, Mississippi, they were saying that people were going other places having abortions and were still getting penalties in trouble. Like if you have an abortion in a state where abortion is illegal, you can go to jail. Like you'll have your baby, or I'm sorry, not have your baby, but you'll have your abortion, and immediately after that, you'll be doing jail time. That's kind of how they want to set up. And you can Trump even said there should be penalties for people who have abortions. So they're not feeling abortions at all. Um, I don't want to put my opinion in there, but me personally, I do think it's a woman's choice. I guess you say pro-choice or whatever. I don't believe people should just be having abortions, have abortions, but there are certain situations where people need to have abortions. I've been in those situations personally, and I was like, man, she pregnant? Like, we ain't finna, we not to the point where we should be thinking about having a baby. at a certain point in time or whatever, or maybe it was just like a one night stand. That's just kind of the way I always felt. But then somebody else, an older person, came to me and was like, and put knowledge in my head. She was like, "Well, if you lay down with somebody, then it's your responsibility. Whatever happens is your responsibility. If you don't protect yourself, you have a baby, you should have that baby." And that brought a different perspective in my mind, from what I thought of before. So now I'm to a point to where I'm like, I don't know if I'm all the way pro-choice because, like I said, especially if you sleep with this person and y'all in a relationship and y'all get pregnant, then y'all created that baby, so y'all should have it. So I kind of look at it favorably both ways, if you could understand that. But we're gonna have to make a choice because if you're voting for President Trump, then abortions might not be a thing that you can even decide on. It may be taken all the way out of your hands. And then it's like it's going further because they're talking about like contraceptives and stuff like that might not be acceptable or plan B. Like they really want to take all that off the table. We're gonna take a look at this video and I want y'all to see uh them talk about it, debate about it. This was the presidential debate, the only presidential debate we'll probably see, which is strange in itself. But this is the presidential debate, and I want you to hear both candidates, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, "I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks." But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore,
now, before he answers or lack thereof answer the question, I want y'all to hear what he has to say. He really don't answer the question, and that's my concern. Like we all know what you want to do, but if that's what you want to do, then be brave about it. Say about it. But watch how he dodged the question.
why should they trust
Well,
you?
the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you
See right there, he skipped over it. He skipped over everything she said, like he didn't even listen to what she said. He skipped over it, like he avoided the question. That's scary, y'all. Listen to it again.
The 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, is doing an excellent job, but the governor before.
How many of y'all believe that people are having abortions in the 9th month? Like that's to me, it's like the cats and dogs story. And I'm not no means fact checking them, but that to black people, you have to understand to black people, some stuff don't even sound right to us if it's not right. Like that don't sound right. Like I don't know where you get this information from, but you've been saying it for like 10 years now. But let's listen.
That vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, is doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her
You did what? What are you saying you did? Is she not asking what? I don't understand. What is she saying you did? She's asking you if this is your opinion to legal to make abortion illegal, and you're talking about that's why you did that and talking about a vote. What are you talking about?
Democrats
She's asking for your plan. What's your plans? Hold on. Let's see here. Let me try again. but you have to understand where I'm coming from. That to me
Plan is, as you know, the vote is,
is where everything.
they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of
Now, you see what I'm saying? He talking about her vice presidential pick. They didn't ask you nothing about her vice president pick. They asked you, what is your stance on abortion? Do you see what I'm saying? How he totally dodged the question 100%. I'm going to rewind it a little bit because I want y'all to hear it, because it's, we stopped, but I want y'all to hear it. She specifically asked him a question and he dodged the question, didn't even try to answer the question.
Administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your
You're
home
talking
state
to a
of Florida,
woman.
you surprised many
Explain what
with
you
regard
mean.
to your 6-week abortion ban, because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next
get 6
day,
weeks
you
from?
reversed
Why 6
course
weeks?
and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 50
He said for the first time you're going to see, and start talking about something totally different. That's crazy. What if I talk like that? What if I was starting to say something and then I stopped talking and talked about something else? That's not how we talk as people, as Americans. That's weird.
2 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe
Now
v.
listen,
Wade.
y'all. Listen.
And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime, a violation to their body, does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree.
Look at his
The
face.
government,
He's not even
and
looking at
Donald
her.
Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country.
Look at his face.
You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that.
Look
Her
at
husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar
Who's
wanted
everybody?
it to be brought back into the states. And the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. And they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she
This is my thing. He keeps saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. Maybe like in a different way, but he keeps sticking to the same talking points, saying everybody wanted it. If everybody wanted it, it wouldn't be such a debate. You can't say that everybody wanted it. That's a lie.
says
That's a
is
lie.
an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it
Well,
came
I
to your
won't
desk?
have to because, again,
So
two
you
things.
won't answer
Number
the
one,
question.
she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50 and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then her, I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D. And I don't mind
I
if
don't
he
know.
has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me. But
don't know.
I really didn't. Look,
You didn't talk
we
to your
don't have
vice
to
president
discuss
about
it
abortion.
because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now
that's
you
why
have
he
a
keeps saying it
vote
over
of
and
the
over.
people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, want to give you your time
He
to
just said the
respond, but I
same
do want to
thing.
ask,
She asked him the question one last time, and he said the same thing. Except for he threw it, he remixed it. That's insane.
would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has
See, and that's the thing. She got thoughts. She can think and talk about other stuff and without having just to say the same over and over, remixing it. That's crazy.
been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to
Trump gonna say, but it's back to the states. I send it back to the states. That's all he gonna say. I send it back to the states, and we did everything people wanted. Everybody wanted it. That's all he keeps saying.
travel to another state, to get on a plane sitting next to strangers, to go and get the health care she needs.
Look, he's
Barely
shaking his
can
head.
afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, and that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay,
She
would
says
you
she
do
would.
that? Why don't you ask her
Why-
that question?
why don't you
That's
answer
the
the
problem.
question, would you
Because
veto?
under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going
It's
to
the
turn now
same story
to
you
immigration
started at the
and
beginning.
border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across.
So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna play, and we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody who tapped in. If you didn't get a chance to tap in, please leave your comment, and we can come back to it later. Dang, y'all, I'm looking kind of good up on the camera, beard and all, waves. But anyway, we'll end it with that. Thank y'all for tapping in. My name is Johnny, and this is Johnny Live. We out.